Hey, I'm Mike over at JC Tonnotti Window Company. The purpose of today's video is to show you the operation of your new Harvey window and also troubleshooting if something goes wrong. Let's get into it. So the first step as far as your operation is going to be your tilt-in latches for easy cleaning. Now, a couple misconceptions with this process is people will open their windows at a slight gap from the bottom, which can lead to further issues, and we'll get into that down the line. But what we want to do is leave a minimum of a fist from the bottom. And the reason being is we don't want to leave any of our keepers down in the channel and risk popping the window out of place. So with a minimum of a fist, I personally like to bring this somewhere in waist level before I bring these in. By pulling in on the tilt-in latches, I'm allowed to bring this window into a full 90 degree to do any of the cleaning that's necessary from the outside of the window. But don't be afraid to let this window sit all the way down. These latches do allow a full swing to be able to rest to get that top sash to do the same as well. The tilt-in latches will operate the same, so we can go ahead and bring this and also rest on the sash below if we need to clean a taller window. When bringing the windows back into place, we want to make sure that we keep a consistent pressure right in the center of the window until you hear a click. That will be your indication that the window is back in place and it's ready to get pushed back up. With taller windows, if you can't reach these latches, you're just going to push from the bottom until you get a nice snug click, and you won't be able to push any farther. When bringing the bottom sash back in, it's going to be the same process. Look for the click. One way to test if everything is in line, you shouldn't be able to pull the window back out of place. When bringing the window down with firm pressure, you should be able to interlock and lock those windows back into place. Another feature with these windows is what we call our nighttime safety latches. This is going to be a nice feature with kids on second floors, if you want to allow ventilation through the day when you're leaving the house, or just overall security. All you're going to do is unlock the top lock. With your fingertips, you're able to pop these pizza slice tabs out and lift the window. You'll notice it'll lock into place and will not allow you to move any farther. This will also work in the top operation. So with your screen up, you can push your bottom sash down and lock that top sash into place to allow some ventilation on the top of the window as well. When going to return those into place, you're going to push in until you hear a click and lock everything. For this next segment, I'd like to talk a little bit about the screens on these windows. So depending on the style of window that you've chosen, you have a few different screen options. In this particular window, we've got an extruded half screen. So to remove this half screen, on the bottom of the window, you're going to pull up on the lift rail and push against the side that has a spring. With that removed, you can bring these screens in if for any reason there needs to be cleaning, or if we need to rescreen that screen in general. Some of the other screens in these windows that you may find is what we call a full extruded screen. Operation will be similar, but you'll have keeper tabs on the bottom that you're going to pull in, and your springs will be on the top. So instead of side loading, you're going to swing out from the top. There is an assisted tab down below that'll allow you to pull up and to sweep it into place. Another screen that we have an option for is what we call a flex screen. To remove this screen, you're going to pinch and remove, and then allow it to sit back in place. When you're reinstalling the screens, you're going to reach out carefully, put the spring side in first, and just assist with clicking into place and setting back where you need it to go. Make sure every time you're closing those windows, you lock everything back in place. For this next segment, we're going to talk about a few things that could go wrong in the troubleshooting process and how to correct them. As I mentioned earlier, when tilting in these windows, the fist is an important rule of thumb to leave as far as clearance for your tilting in when cleaning these windows. If you don't leave enough clearance on the bottom, what can happen when these windows are tilt in is your lift rail can meet the sill and actually pop the window out of place. Don't be afraid if this happens. All you're going to do is look into the channel, make sure that the pin goes back into place, level out the window, tilt back in and click. The bait and tackle system that works behind the scenes here does self-level. So don't be afraid if one side is higher than the other. What you need to make sure is that the pin sits into the coupling and will rotate back into full effect. With that in, try out the operation, make sure everything is moving slowly up and down and locking correctly. If for any reason you see a part stuck down below, you haven't set the pin in correctly, go back to step one. The only situation that these windows will physically fall out on you is when the window is at a full 90 degree. Some of the calls that we receive happen because people are resting the windows on their knees, on their hips, and as you can see, at a full 90. The way that this system works is when the mouth of the channel opens at the 90 degree, I'm able to remove the sash altogether. The reason this happens is if we need to replace this for a warranty purpose, I can come in, change out an individual sash instead of your entire window. Some of the symptoms that may occur if this window comes out of the pivot lock shoe is the window itself may not hold its weight, which means as you lift this window up, it may fall down right out of place. It may also give you difficulty with locking. The reason being is that pivot lock shoe has now gotten stuck down below. There's a couple easy steps that we can take to correct this and get everything right back in line. Step one is going to be bringing the window up out of your way, and if possible, asking for a second hand just to support the window if it keeps closing on top of you for safety concerns. With that said, the next tool you're going to need is a flathead screwdriver. You're going to set the fattest flat tip that you can, and with very small access, you're going to spin the shoe, set that into a meeting location at a comfortable height, bring the window back down into place, tilt the window in, set the pin in place, and reset back into the opening. With these steps completed, you should notice that there is no longer a part in the channel that's visible, and the operation of the window should be back to its normal. Another issue that can arise is your windows may not be lining up and locking. Obviously, for safety concerns, this is something we want to get remedied right away. We ask you to take a couple-step process just to make sure that everything is corrected before we come out and service the window. What can happen sometimes is this top sash, if not locked in the perfect position, will actually hang down lower and not allow your lock to meet. Make sure that you give a nice tight push all the way up and a nice squeeze down on the bottom sash to make sure that those two locks meet. What can happen is over a kitchen window or an area that's hard to reach, with an extension, we find ourselves pulling the window toward us. On the back of these windows, we have a C-latch that's going to meet the front and the back sash to secure it. If we're pulling the windows away, we end up meeting the two joints together and knocking the back sash down, which is why this is no longer in alignment. So always make sure that you're giving a little forward pressure and forward pressure on the bottom sash to make sure that that locks smoothly. If none of the steps that we took today to remedy the issues for you have worked, or if you don't feel confident or comfortable with doing any of the operations that I showed you, please do not hesitate to call JC Tonnotti Window Company. The ladies at the office will set up a service call. We will come out and handle this for you directly. If you do feel confident in giving these a try, 9 times out of 10, this will correct the issues for you. If not, any of these parts are replaceable. We will bring out a service kit and we'll get you buttoned up. Thank you.